Today we'll be looking at lesson number 2, composite shapes. Most of the first page is writing. I kind of expect you to read that over, but just to point out a few things, if you haven't read it over yet, we'll be looking at perimeter and area today of things that are composed of other things. Reminders, perimeter is the distance around something. One of the big things you have to be careful about when you talk about perimeter of a composite shape, like this skating rink here, is you actually want to go around the shape, okay, not on the interior. So even though there's a rectangle and some circle pieces, the blue lines are not part of the exterior. They would be on the inside, and we wouldn't worry about them in terms of the perimeter. Do remember for perimeter in circles, it's called circumference. Another handy thing that's going to come up lots of times when we're looking at areas or perimeters is the use of Pythagoras. It's a concept we learned back in grade 9 and 10. Reviewed it again in grade 11. We're not going to necessarily review in this course, but just some reminders. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. C must be your hypotenuse, the longest side of the diagonal. If it's not, that's okay. You can still solve for it. There's a simple example there. That often comes up with shapes that deal with triangles, two-dimensionally and three-dimensionally, cones, pyramids, those kinds of things. We'll use Pythagoras. And the last little thing on page 1 is that when you're looking at circles, be careful. Circles talk about radius, they talk about diameter. Most of the time when we're using our formulas, we'll use the radius for our formula, which is half of a diameter, right? It's only half the distance across the circle. For the rest of this lesson, you're going to need the formula page. I would have printed that out, hopefully, if I were you at the beginning. Otherwise, page 2 will be awfully difficult to work through.